Greetings, friends, and welcome back to the broadcast. I'm Shawn. Website can be found at scriptureandprophecy.com. That's where you go to find the archives, and that's where you go to support this mission of truth. Today, we are resuming our study in the ancient book of Enoch, and we're starting with chapter 91. Looks like 91 through 93 today. This deals with like this apocalypse of weeks, the 10 weeks of Enoch. It's kind of where Enoch breaks down in just two sentences these each week, representing a time frame in history all the way to the end. And most of it we can pretty clearly discern what it's talking about. I'd say when you get to the 8th week, that's when there's some, it's hard to, it makes you wonder if this is where we are now in the 8th week or so forth and so on. Ken Johnson's commentary is pretty good up until the 8th week. I think after that, some of his pet doctrines kind of get in the way, and he has to take some long walks to kind of make some things work. So we won't be reading a lot of, or referring to much of his commentary, but through the first 7 weeks, it's pretty obvious what we're talking about. And then we'll have kind of this prophetic last 3 weeks, and I'm just going to let you kind of discern for yourself what you think that might be pointing to, and where you think we might be according to Enoch's prophetic timeline. All right. With that introduction, let's begin chapter 91. Now, my son Methuselah, call all of your brothers and all of your mother's children to me. For the word calls me, and the Spirit is poured out upon me that I may tell you everything that will happen to you in the future. Methuselah went, and he summoned all of his brothers and assembled all of his relatives. And he spoke of righteousness to all the children. He said, "Listen, my children, to all the words of your father, and take seriously my speech, for I need to warn you, beloved. Love righteousness and walk in it. Do not approach righteousness with a double heart, and associate not with those of a double heart. But walk in justice, my sons. It will guide you on good paths, and righteousness will be your companion." So please note, that's just the ultimate advice for a child of God. My ultimate advice for a Christian today would be start by loving righteousness and holiness. Loving it. The Apostle John says this is how we know that we love God, that we obey his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous, meaning it is not a burden to obey God. It's our great pleasure, our great joy. You have to get to a place in your life where you love righteousness and holiness above your flesh, above the things the world has to offer. Enoch says, love righteousness and walk in it, and do not approach righteousness with a double heart. You can't have a casual attitude towards sin and love righteousness at the same time. That makes you a hypocrite, right? That's what it means to be a double heart, or the Bible will say double-minded. Not only that, it says, and associate not with those of a double heart. So, do not spend your time with hypocrites, with people who say, "I love Jesus and I want to be and they have all the Christianese language and everything, but then you see what they do outside of the church building or when nobody's looking. They have a double heart. You become who you surround yourself with." Verse 5. For I know that violence must increase on the earth, and a great judgment will be executed on the earth. All unrighteousness will cease to be cut off at its roots, its whole structure destroyed. And unrighteousness will a second time be consumed on the earth. So please note, this first, where he's saying violence must increase on the earth and a great judgment will come, he's talking to Methuselah about the coming flood, but then he says there's going to be a second judgment, right? This is the one at the end. And unrighteousness will a second time be consumed on the earth, and all the deeds of sin, violence, godlessness will prevail. When sin, blasphemy, unrighteousness, and all kinds of violent deeds increase, and apostasy, transgression, and uncleanliness increases, there will be a great judgment from heaven upon all of these. So please note, we definitely have seen an increase in everything that Enoch just said in our day. Violence, definitely an increase in apostasy. Don't even get me started on the things that I see in these churches now. And these wolves in sheep clothing feeding on the flock. It's disgusting. The Holy Lord will come forth with wrath and judgment to punish the earth. In those days, violence will be cut off from its roots, and the roots of unrighteousness, together with deceit, will be destroyed from under heaven, and all idols of heaven will be abandoned, and the temples burned with fire, and they will be removed from the whole earth. The heathen will be cast into a judgment of eternal fire. The righteous will arise from their sleep, probably talking about the resurrection there, and wisdom will arise and be given unto them. After that, the roots of unrighteousness will be cut off, and the sinner will be destroyed by the sword. Blasphemers will be cut off from every place, and those who plan violence and blasphemy will perish by the sword. Chapter 92. This instruction and wisdom was written by Enoch for every man of dignity, judge of the earth. All of his children who dwell on the earth, and future generations who practice righteousness and peace. Do not let your spirit be troubled on account of the times, for the Holy Great One has appointed days for all things. The righteous one will arise from sleep. He will arise and walk in the paths of righteousness, and all paths and ways will be the eternal goodness and grace. He will be gracious to the righteous and give them eternal life. And he will give them power so that they will be endowed with goodness and righteousness. They will walk in eternal light, and sin will perish in darkness forever, and will no more be seen from that day forevermore. So Enoch's saying there'll be a great judgment. And then the righteous will awake from their sleep, and they will be given a power. They'll be endowed with goodness and righteousness, and sin will no longer be a thing. It'll no longer be a thing to be wrestled with. All right, now we read chapter 93, which deals with these 10 weeks of Enoch. So it's kind of like the first week deals with like the creation, then the second week, and so forth and so on. After that, Enoch began to recount from the books of Enoch. I wish to tell you about the children of righteousness, the elect of the world, and the plant of uprightness. I, Enoch, will declare them to you, my sons, that they appeared to me in heavenly vision, as I have been told by the word of holy angels, and have read from the heavenly tablets. Enoch began to recount from the books, and said, I was born on the 7th day in the first week, while justice and righteousness still endured. Second week. After me there will arise a second week. Great wickedness and deceit will spring up. Afterwards will be the first end. Mankind will be saved, but unrighteousness will revive, even though he will make it law for the sinners. So the second week, he's talking about how there'll be unrighteousness on the earth and then a judgment, right? Like the flood. Third week. After that, during the third week, a man will be elected as the plant of righteous judgment, and his posterity will become the plant of righteousness forevermore. Good chance we're talking about Abraham there for the third week. Fourth week, probably talking about the Mosaic law, right? After that, during the fourth week, visions of the holy and righteous will be seen, and a law for all generations. and an enclosure will be made for them. 5th week, probably talking about Solomon's temple. After that, during the 5th week, the house of dominion will be built, forever glorified. 6th week. After that, in the 6th week, all who live in it will be blinded, and their hearts will godlessly forsake wisdom. In it, a man will ascend, and at its close, the house of dominion will be burnt with fire, and the whole race of the chosen root will be dispersed. So the 6th week is likely talking about the time of Jesus, right? They kind of forsake wisdom, but then a man ascends. The only man who's ever ascended into heaven is Christ. And then the house will be burnt. So Herod's temple was torn down by the Romans, if you remember. And then the Jews were dispersed, right? The whole race of the chosen will be dispersed. 7th week. After that, in the 7th week, an apostate generation will arise. Their rebellion will manifest in many different ways. At its close, the elect of the eternal plant of righteousness will be rewarded with 7-fold instructions concerning all of his creation. This could be kind of talking about the beginning of the church age, right? Again, kind of hard to tell. Sometimes I wonder if the 7th week is dealing with us, because there's an apostate generation. Rebellion has in different ways, but at the same time, there's also a lot of people coming to faith. So I'm not sure. Let's continue on. We have this little section that gets inserted here before we get to the 8th week. Who there of all the children of men, who is able to hear the voice of the Holy One with trembling? Who can think his thoughts, or who is there that can behold all works of heaven? Who could behold the heaven, understand the things of heaven, see his souls and spirits and relate to it, or ascend and see all their ends and think and do like them? Who is the man who could know what is the breadth and the length of the earth? And to whom has he been shown the measure of all of them? Or is there anyone who could discern the length and height of heaven, what it is founded upon, or could number the stars, or know where all the luminaries rest? 8th week. After that there will be another, the 8th week, that of righteousness. A sword will be given to it so that it pass judgment on the oppressors, and sinners will be delivered into the hands of the righteous. During its completion, they will acquire houses through their righteousness, and a house will be built for honor for the great king forever. Another one, it's like, well, is this like where the church spread all over the earth and built churches all over the earth? Very well could be. 9th week. This one is most likely, definitely future, possibly near future. After that, in the 9th week, the righteous judgment will be revealed to the whole world, and all the works of the godless will vanish from the earth, and the world will be written down for destruction, and all men will look to the path of integrity. So that seems to deal with kind of the end, right? In the like a tribulation type period. When Ken Johnson's notes, you can just see the dispensational modern theology being poured out into kind of where he's inserting words and stuff. I think it's just simply dealing with the end of time, or the end of the generation. All the works of godlessness will vanish from the... This is obviously talking about the time of tribulation. He's making it about some other things. And then the 10th week. After this, in the 10th week, in the 7th part, there will be a great eternal judgment, in which he will judge the watchers The great eternal heavens will appear from the midst of the angels. The first heaven will depart and pass away, and a new heaven will appear, and all the powers of heaven will be given sevenfold light forever. So we know that that's the end, right? New heaven and a new earth, which means the 9th week has to be that period right before that. And so that could be the period that we're in, or we could be in the 8th period, honestly. Either way, very, very interesting. Just a little bit more to read here as we wrap up. After that, there will be many weeks without number forever. This is dealing with eternity. And all will be in goodness and righteousness, and sin will be no more mentioned forever. Now I tell you, my sons, and show you the paths of righteousness and the paths of violence. I will show them to you again, that you may know what will come to pass. And now, listen to me, my sons. Walk in the paths of righteousness, not in the paths of violence. For all who walk in the path of unrighteousness will perish forever. And that is where we're going to stop today. And, I was very vague, really dealing with the 7th, 8th, and 9th weeks, because the truth is I don't know, and I don't want to just insert too much theory. I don't want to make some of the mistakes that I think that Ken Johnson's making in his commentary with those weeks, where I take kind of my pet doctrines and my own personal interpretations of things and kind of insert it in there to make it fit. I don't like it when people kind of do that. You should let these things inform your theology, not take your theology that you've invented and then go the opposite way and make it inform the scripture, if you know what I'm getting at. The next section that we'll be reading starting next week is entitled Woe to Sinners. So that runs from chapter 94 to 105. We'll be talking more about these end time related things as we move further through the book of Enoch. I pray you've been blessed this morning. Thank you for tuning in and taking the time. This broadcast is 100% listener supported, so if you're being blessed, please consider supporting it. There's an awesome Jubilee series up on the Patreon page, patreon.com/truthfed, that you might want to check out, and you can have access to that stuff and support the mission all at the same time. There's also a post office box and PayPal. Thank you so much for your prayers. Peace and grace be with all of you. And until next time, God bless.